10. Dostoevsky Quotes for Deep Thinkers. Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoevsky was a 19th century Russian thinker who for the most part wrote novels and short stories. He dug deep into human psychology and life and brought life lessons and wisdom of such luminosity that they are still the go-to source of light for deep thinking people of this day and age, without which one cannot expect to negotiate the murky waters. Don't just believe me, see for yourself. Nietzsche once said, Dostoevsky, the only psychologist, incidentally, from whom I had something to learn. The real 19th century prophet was Dostoevsky, not Karl Marx. This was said by Albert Camus. Here I have compiled a list of 10 thoughts that will navigate you through the deepness of the human consciousness. The number 1 is, nothing in the world is harder than speaking the truth and nothing easier than flattery. Truth requires courage. To speak the truth, we have to be resolute in our speech as well as action. A man who speaks the truth is always detested by the masses. People like to believe in comforting lies. Dostoevsky says that a man who speaks the truth does the hardest job of all. He makes himself a prey for all the naysayers and bamboozled rebellion who can't take it. On the other hand, it is easier to convince someone by flattery through comforting lies and deception. People love those who please them, who gives them attention, and hence Dostoevsky said that flattery is easier than telling the truth, or lies are easier to extrapolate than having the valor to unlock the cage of truth. Number 2. Lack of originality. Everywhere, all over the world, from time immemorial, has always been considered the foremost quality and the recommendation of the active, efficient, and practical man. To be original, you have to see deep. To see deep, you have to go slow. If you are slow, the world will seem faster. The world seems faster because it moves faster. It moves faster because it isn't concerned about originality. It merely wants to make it. The ones who make it fast are active, efficient, and practical. For Dostoevsky, we lack originality as the masses always chase lies and falseness. We pretend to be someone else or something that we never are. The world gets influenced easily. From a microeconomics perspective, we as individuals play a major role. It is better to fail to be yourself than to be successful being someone else. Do you agree? Drop a comment explaining why or why not. Number 3. A fool with a heart and no sense is just as unhappy as a fool with sense and no heart. A person who is at all times deeply immersed in feelings doesn't have control over things. A person who is at all times in control of things doesn't have time for feelings. Both are fools and unhappy. Number 4. Inventors and geniuses have almost always been looked on as no better than fools at the beginning of their career and very frequently at the end of it also. True inventors and geniuses are original thinkers, and to be original, you have to see deep. To see deep, you have to go slow. It's apparent that if you see deeper than others, you will be called a fool, for they cannot even imagine what you are able to see. It's also apparent that if go slower than others, you will be called a fool, for others have started running while you are still crawling in your diapers. But what about the end? Did you get it? Please give your perspective in the comments. Number 5. Above all, avoid falsehood. Every kind of falsehood, especially falseness to yourself. Watch over your own deceitfulness and look into it every hour, every minute. It's hard to listen to adverse things about ourselves. It's almost impossible to admit them. It's easy to say adverse things about others. It's almost easiest to consider it to be true. Don't hide behind fancy make-believes. Admit the truth to yourself. Don't live in delusion. Look at yourself in your mirror each night. Count how many people you deceived that day. Look at yourself in your mirror each morning. Say you will try to decrease at least one deception this day. Number 6. In most cases, people, even the most vicious, are much more naive and simple-minded than we assume them to be. And this is true of ourselves too. This is where Dostoevsky genius truly shines. In moments of both excitement and disappointment, we tend to exaggerate a lot. When our personal heroes manage to satisfy our demands, we run out of positive adjectives to describe them. When someone becomes an opposite force, pushing us further from where we desired to be, we run out of derogatory adjectives to describe that person. And the same applies to our self-judgment. We humans are simple if we understand the basics. There are a few laws we need to understand them. Number 7. To be in love is not the same as loving. You can be in love with a woman and still hate her. Being in love is a feeling, while loving is a temporary attitude. The former is romantic in nature, while the latter could mean sympathy, pity, and even awe. The opposite of being loved is loath. The opposite of love is hating. You can be in love with a person and still hate that person's behavior, character, and actions. Number 8. Above all, do not lie to yourself. A man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point where he does not discern any truth either in himself or anywhere around him, and thus falls into disrespect towards himself and others. If you lie so much that you begin lying to yourself too, you become a chronic liar. It will lead to you losing both the ability and the will to look at things truly. You will start deceiving yourself. All you will try to do is convince yourself and others that your point of view is the only truth and the only real way of looking at things. That is, you lie and falsify everything to both advances and defend your perspective and actions. You will not only spit lies but also swallow them. And what will all this lead to? You lose the respect of others and therefore of yourself. You lose the respect of others because they can see through you. They can see that you are unoriginal, unworthy, and self-deceiving. And hence, they decode your game. It doesn't matter to them if they are the same. We all like to spit on others, remember? And once we perceive ourselves being disrespected by others, it's impossible for us to respect ourselves. Number 9. For there are two sorts of mind, one that matters and one that doesn't matter. One type of mind is that which understands and pursues things of value and truth. The other type of mind doesn't care about that stuff. It pursues things of advantage. We all have these two categories of minds within us. We have both the impulse to pursue value and truth and also things of advantage. The mind which pursues truth is the one that matters, the other doesn't. Number 10. Talking nonsense is man's only privilege that distinguishes him from all other organisms. What does this quote mean? Did you get that? Explain it in the comment box. So, tell us, do you like these Dostoevsky quotes? And also, subscribe to Inspiration Abode for more insightful content. Thank you.